Friends, hello and welcome back. Timo Meierr has been the center of trade talks here recently. Arguably the number one guy out there, potentially on the trade market this NHL trade deadline season. Timo Meierr, a guy that again put up 35 or 37, 35 goals last season. Guy's on pace to put up about 40 again this season. And the asking price, it's pretty steep because of not only because of that, but because this guy is still an RFA, surprisingly. So whoever gets him isn't getting. It's not a rental. You're gonna get him next year, or you're not gonna be able to sign him, which really makes things interesting when you think about it. Because that you would think that drives the value up for the San Jose Sharks because you're getting this guy for more than 3 months or 2 months or whatever. But when you're hearing qualifying offers in the $8 to $10 million range, it's like, well, yeah. At the same time, you gotta find potential trade partners that have the cap space, and you really wonder how the Rangers make that happen with the guys they bring over. They seem to be wanting to make it happen. The rivalry feels like it's rebrewing between the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. Both teams playing good hockey, got some young and up-and-coming studs, and now here they are, potentially in a bidding war for Timo Meierr. We're gonna see what it would take to acquire Timo. See, needless to say, EA agrees there's some value in Nemec and other players. I've seen some pretty crazy trades on Twitter where they're like, yeah, we're gonna take Nemec, we're gonna take who was it? It was like Nemec, a couple firsts. They were just plucking all of New Jersey's. Luke Hughes, that was another one. I don't think Luke Hughes is in this game. I don't think New Jersey would trade him anyway. They wouldn't trade Nemec. He's untouchable. And that brings the question, like, what really is the bid value? What are they really willing to trade? If you're New Jersey, or if you're the New York Rangers. Dawson Mercer, 20 years young, I can't imagine them wanting to move him for Timo Meierr. They might end up with a really bona fide draft pick package here. The question is, what would it take? Jesper Boquist, I just don't see it happening. I don't know where. I don't know where they go. You ain't going Nico. You're not going Hamilton. You're not giving him Brat. Nemec is just. I guess if you're New Jersey, you can say it's a gamble, but no, you're not the second overall pick. A defenseman in the second overall pick. You expect this guy to be a franchise player at some point in time, and you don't give up your franchise. That's what's crazy. I think I hear about these trade rumors for Timo Meierr. Timo Meierr for Nemec? How about Timo Meierr for Patrick Laine? Or Timo Meierr for Jack Eichel. I'm just saying an 18-year-old Jack Eichel. That's crazy to me. Trying to acquire the second overall pick in the draft, I don't see that possibly happening. You can dream big. They could give him a first. And then they could give him a second. That's a starting point. That's a big starting point. The draft value already, according to the EA, is an overpayment. I don't know about all that. But a first and a second for Timo Meierr. The Devils would be over the maximum salary cap. I think they have problems there, clearly. They're bringing in a $6 million guy. I think that might be what New Jersey... I think New Jersey would say, we'll give you a first. I think that's the starting point. You do start at a first. And then you say, what about... Hear me out. Hear me out, San Jose. Boquist, Ball... You got to give them... I don't think they want a player in return. That's the problem. They're going to want some sort of prospect. I mean, if they wanted a player, they'd sign this guy. So you look and say, what kind of prospects does New Jersey have? They ain't giving up Nemec. That's not going to happen. You could possibly give them Villan, but I don't think they care that much about a fifth-round draft pick. To be honest here. But, I mean, New Jersey wants to get rid of him, of course. You could give them Balling out. Boquist. I wouldn't mind Boquist. I think Boquist is a decent give-up. Would you take Boquist? I don't think Boquist is enough. I mean, you say, hey, we'll give you Boquist. He's 23. He's too young. Or he's too old. It's a difficult situation. I don't think they want to give up Dawson Mercer. I don't think they're going to give up Alexander Holtz. The asking price for a team, it's just not likely. And that's why we rarely see player trades. A team that wants to be good and wants to have a future, they're not going to give up their future studs. And I think that's what we're seeing this year with the asking price of Timo Meierr. It's just too high. I don't think, and again, because they have to pay him. This isn't a rental for 2 months. I get that, but they still have to pay this guy long term. I think the Devils would say we'll give you a first, a second, maybe 2 seconds. This is a good player. We do have to keep in mind, though, again, looking in the past, like when Duchesne was having great seasons, or Carl, you've seen these guys go before. It's still a player you're trading and giving up, and they typically don't hold a lot of value for some reason. We're going to see the New Jersey Devils give up a first and 2 seconds for Timo Meier. An overpayment according to this game, but I think a first and 2 seconds, Timo Meier. I think that's what it would take for the New Jersey Devils to get Timo Meier. I think that's the fair trade. Now, if we were to talk New York Rangers. New York Rangers. Whew. Dallas is first. The Rangers is first. What kind of prospects could the Rangers possibly deal up? The Rangers in a situation, again, they are paying some guys. Whole lot of money. $9 million in Adam Fox, $11 million in Panarin. They have to find a way to make this guy fit in their books. Trouba, $8 million. It's going to be difficult. They were talking we would take Capo Caco. Oh, we have heard this about Caco going in. Again, this is a couple years removed, so it's a little different from the second overall pick. Crazy how Meier is a second overall pick caliber trade value all of a sudden. I don't know the last time I've seen it. That's crazy when you think about it. When's the last time you've seen a second overall pick get traded at the deadline for somebody? I just don't think it happens. Caco's 18 points in 43 games this season, 17-46, and 23-66. You stop and look at that and say, man, would you trade Capo Caco if he's the New York Rangers? We're 3 years in. He hasn't shown signs of really going off, and sometimes you just have to accept your losses and take them as you will. And hey, if you can give that burden to another team, because something is not right with Capo Caco. 18 points in 43 games last season. 17 points in 48 in 2021. He does have 23 points in 49 games this season. But 4 years in? That's tough. Rangers, I don't want to, do something I think you wouldn't do here. I wouldn't do a penny more, though. I'd say Caco for Meier. I don't think you can give him much more than that. You're going to give a second overall pick and a prospect. The trade value isn't as high. But I don't know how you go much more than that for him if I'm the Rangers. I'm giving you the second overall pick. That's a gamble you want to take. I would say Caco's an option. And I would look and say, oh, what if we gave you our first? And it's something they could do that the Devils can't, is really offer up 2 first-round draft picks because they have the Stars as well. 2 teams that are good playoff teams. It's like, oh, we ain't losing too much there. I think what you would see happen in a trade like this, as we always do, is I think you're going to see a first-round draft pick on the board. And not with Caco. I'd say, again, I think you can go Caco straight up and then a conditional pick. But I think what we see happen a lot here is you would say, give us a first, give us a second, and then we're going to throw in a conditional pick. If we sign him to X amount of years, or we make it this far into the playoffs, we're going to add maybe a first then. Like, oh, if we can get Meier locked down for 8 years, we'll give you a first-round draft pick. If we can't, we're not going to do it. And, we've seen that in the past. I think we could see that happen here as well. Now, obviously, the Rangers would be over the salary cap. Again, a problem but all these teams are having. They'd have to move players around to make this guy's contract work. That's the difficulty here. I would say, that's your options. I'd give you a first and a second from both teams, really. I think the Rangers have a little bit more to offer because of that Capo Caco flexibility. But overall, I'm looking at it and saying, I don't know how much more you think you're going to get. They could possibly give him Othman. Othman would be a guy, mid-round, first-round draft pick. He's right now, top 6 forward, whatever, doesn't matter what the game thinks of the guy. But, I think that's the guy you'd say we could give you him, Othman. But then that would be how they get outbid the Devils. I think you could say Othman will give you a first. I think you go that direction and then maybe a conditional second. I think that might be a little bit better value than what the Devils are offering. I think you could say, hey, let me slam that one on the table for you, San Jose. Would you take that if you was the San Jose Sharks, though? And more importantly, would the New York Rangers be willing to offer that up? I think it's an interesting story. I love to hear your guys' thoughts. Who would you be putting on the table for Timo Meier if you're a Devils or a Rangers fan? Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.